Hello, welcome back to Learn Economy. In this video, we are going to look into credit market constraints. What is credit market constraints? Credit market constraint play a very important barrier. It acts as a very important barrier with respect to economic efficiency. So it actually curtail or act as a barrier with respect in achieving the economic efficiency and welfare. This is not only with respect to India, but also you can see with respect to many other economies, and especially in the case of developing economy, this is mostly seen. Okay. And the modern development of liquid as well as transparent securities market make it possible for individuals to easily obtain loans by pledging their high quality collateral. And what is credit constrained consumers, and who are credit constrained consumers? They are those people who had their request for credit rejected by the financial institutions. Yes, you can see this as a principal agent problem. What is a principal agent problem with respect to market lending, market borrowing, etc.? I mean, lending of money and lending of borrowing. Here we could see that the lending, borrowing, etc. is a relationship between two parties. The one is a principal and the other one is agent. The lender is a principal and the other one, the borrower, is the agent. The lender cannot guarantee repayment of loan by the borrower by means of an enforceable contract. In order to deal with this problem, lenders often require borrowers to contribute some of their own funds to the project. As a result, we could see that people with limited wealth, they are sometimes unable to take a loan, or they can do so only at a higher rate of interest. You can see that there is a inequality between the lender as well as the borrower, because the borrower is someone who doesn't have enough money with him or her, and the lender is a person who has got more money with him or her. Just consider that uh, Macro is a person who is the representative of a borrower, and Julia is a person there are, just think that there are two sections in the economy. One is a borrowing section and the other one is the lending section. So we can name two persons as Macro and Julia, who will be heading the two different sections. Okay. Just analyze the inequalities between borrowers and lenders. We can see that these inequalities, as in the case of employees and employers, rich and poor, we can use Lawrence curve as well as Gini coefficient to deal with the inequality. I mean, to understand the extent of inequality between the borrowers and lenders in the economy. If you look at the illustration in the figure, you can see that an economy is composed of 90 farmers as well as 10 lenders. And these people, they use the funds to finance planting, tending of their crops, etc. I mean, the farmers who borrow from the lenders, they use the money they borrow to deal with the planting, tending, etc. The harvest is sold for an amount which is greater than the farmer's loan. So for every euro borrowed, or for every rupee borrowed, or for every dollar borrowed as well as invested, the farmer would gain an income of 1 plus pi. Pi here means rate of profit. For harvest, you can see that the farmers would repay the loans with an interest rate which is I. Just assume that all the loans are repaid and all lenders lend the same amount to the farmers at the same rate of interest. Since every euro or dollar or rupee invested produces total revenue of 1 plus your profit, each farmer produces an income which is equal to the rate of profit. But this income is divided between the lender as well as the borrower, right? For the lender, who receives an income of 1 for every euro lent, the borrower who receives the remainder, that is profit minus interest rate. So the lender would receive a share of 1 by profit, interest by profit of the total output, and the borrower would receive a share of 1 minus I by pi, or the interest divided by profit. Thus, if interest is equal to 0.10 and the rate of profit is equal to 0.15, then the lender's share of income would be 2 by 3 and the borrower's share would be 1 by 3. Inequality you can see this in the figure, and here the Gini coefficient is 0.57. Just imagine that 40 of the prospective borrowers are excluded and nothing else change. Okay, here the dashed line in the figure 10.21 shows a new situation. The new Gini coefficient is 0.70, showing an increase in inequality as a result of credit market exclusion of poor. So that's all. I hope you could understand the inequality changing situation, how it is increasing when there is a reduction in lenders or when there is an increase in borrowers. So I hope you could understand this kind of principal agent problem. Please consider this channel for liking, sharing, as well as subscribing. And also I am providing the links of my Telegram group as well as Telegram channel in the description box. There have been plenty of people now there. They are benefiting a lot with respect to clearing their doubts, getting clarifications, etc. So you are also welcome. You are also welcome to these things. So thank you for watching.